You know that in music there is a rule called fa super la, but we always have to apply this rule. Welcome to this new video. I'm Riccardo, the Musicus Practicus, and here on the internet I teach to all the world Renaissance and Baroque music as if you lived in the Renaissance or in the Baroque, so with the original approach. Today we have a very interesting question, which can be a little strange as question, but it's very important, and then you'll discover why, by Ali, one of the musici studying Solmization and the Renaissance path. Now, the question is, we are in the solmization path, then I'll tell you more about this, and the question is, hello Ricardus, at minute 11 you sing a melody, I think it should happen on AA, so a note in the great scale in the order super acuto, sovracuto, super acute. But you sang it on mi. What is the reason for this? So I'm singing that note A as mi and not as fa, since it should supposed to be as a fa super la. Let's see why. First of all, this is the point. Re. Why? Because C ascending is re, and so we get. But let's do this way so you can clearly see. Up. You can clearly see my screen. Perfect. This is amazing. And now you can clearly see this. C ascending notation base. La, re, mi, fa, sol, re, mi, re. Re, mi. This is the point. So now let's analyze all of this more in depth. This excerpt is taken from William Byrd Four Voice Mass. And first of all, let's activate the keyboard, which is this one, so we can play. Sometimes there are some little issues in terms of audio settings. Okay, it seems to block, but now we can hear it. And let's take the score. We are in William Byrd Four Voice Mass. Here there is this section where we have our tenor. La, re, fa, la, re, mi, re, mi, fa, but it's moving, so re, mi, fa, sol, re, mi. And according to the fa super la rule, I have re, mi, fa, sol, la, fa, la, instead of mi, re, instead of doing another mutation. So re, mi, fa, sol, la, fa. First of all, we have to consider that from this note to this note, we can have different species of diapente. So what's the diapente? The diapente is the fifth. We can have re, mi, fa, sol, la, ut, re, mi, fa, sol, or mi, fa, sol, re, mi, for example, or fa, sol, re, mi, fa, which are the first, the second, the third, and the fourth species of the diapente, so the fifth. But let's see what's happening here. Here we are approaching the cadence of the first Kyrie. Now, as you can see, this is the melody of our Kyrie, the subject which enters in imitations, and sol, re, sol, mi, la, mi, fa, sol, la, mi, sol, re, mi, fa, mi, re, do, re. And here we have this passage. So why I'm not singing ala mi re, fa on ala mi re? First of all, because we have to check this with the other voices, and the bass is singing something else. The bass is singing la, re, fa, and this note mi, la, sol, la, mi, la. And as you can see, natural A with A flat, they do not work together very well. Another reason is that we are approaching a cadence where we have a suspension in the bass. So here makes sense to sing mi. And even from another point of view, we do not have a tritonus that we have to temperate in a way or in another way. We do not have fa, sol, la, fa, sol, re, mi, re. In this situation, it's causa necessitatis, we need the fa super la because the tritonus is very, very bad. In this case, we do not have a clear tritonus to make it softer. But here, first of all, the counterpoint is what is more important. Let's play the bass with the tenor. As you can see. And then we can even play the other voice. And so we can make the cadence here. So in this case, we do not have to apply the fa super la, and so it's not sol la fa la, but we do another mutation, a mutation on ci re mi fa sol re mi, but we have in natural in the melody, so re mi fa sol re mi re do re mi re, perfectly works. So in this context, the fa super la, it's not necessary. Now, where we are here, we are in the solmization path, which is part of the big Renaissance, Musicus Practicus Renaissance path. Where is it? Here, where you can learn to read music in these. You can learn Renaissance music as you have lived in the Renaissance. So we have the solmization level with 84 lessons and a lot of practical exercises. It's all practical, the course, where you can learn all the things about solmization. To read with hexachords, how musica ficta works, how to do mutations in nature and in bemollis, bifla, bifa, and bemi. Now, the cantus firmus, where you learn the modality of the Gregorian chant of that period. There are 145 lessons, so a lot. Cantus figuratus, where you can learn to read and perform Renaissance notation directly from the original sources, because here we do exercises reading music from the original sources. So this is the contratenor part. Contra is written here from Ockegem missa quam olim, and in one of these exercises, in one of these 107 lessons, we study this piece without using any transcription. So we play it on the keyboard or we sing it, or both. You know, we do both because we use solmization. So you learn the mensure, how to read the mensure, how to beat the tactus, how to change from the tempus with the tempus perfectum prolatio perfecta to, for example, this tempus perfectum, but the prolatio is not perfecta, is imperfecta, with the cut, without the cut, the segni contra segni, and then tones and modes, which is another big course because there are 115 lessons where you can learn how the modal system works in the polyphony. In cantus firmus, the monody, and then the extension apply of polyphonic music is here. So why, for example, the 12 modes actually do not exist, but they are nothing more than the 8 tones, and at the same time the 12 modes that do not introduce any new species in terms of the appellate and the testron to create new modes. So all these things that are very important in Renaissance music, and they are not taught today in the right way with the original sources. I mean, even the Renaissance, for example, Renaissance counterpoint books, even the most important ones, are entirely based on rules. And there may be a little chapter about modality, but it's only something little. And it's not possible that today, if you want to study Renaissance counterpoint, you do not know how modality work. There are a lot of things to know about modality, and here they are entirely based on solmization. This is the complete path you would follow if you had lived in the Renaissance. Now, how to join this? There is a link here in the description. You can start the solmization path with a free part, and then you can continue with the entire part, and then there will be other updates during the year with new levels and new things. Because remember that what we do, musici pratici of the 21st century, consists in learning music today as if we had lived in the Renaissance. This is what we want to have today, a musical education which is not too much academic, too much based on difficult things to read, to understand, and at the end you don't learn nothing. There are a lot of ancient books, but they are not available for all. I mean, they are written, for example, in ancient Italian, and they are difficult, but this way, with these courses, you can, in English, achieve to this knowledge. And then when you approach an ancient book, it will be much easier to understand other differences, nuances. So learn Renaissance music, and let's say hello to Ali for the very interesting question. And remember, fa super la is important, but sometimes we can even use other possibilities. Learn solmization, link in the description.
Fa, re, fa, mi, fa, la, fa. Wait, what's going on? What are all these strange notes? Look at this. This is how they read notes during the Renaissance and the Baroque period. This is a book of the beginning of the 17th century. Now, tell me, how can you understand and play Renaissance and Baroque music correctly if your way of reading is completely different from what they used? Even worse, how can you compose new music in a stylistically accurate way if you start from a mindset which is diametrically opposed to what all ancient musicians used? Well, you can't. They are two different languages. Imagine instead the freedom of reading correctly every note. Imagine the confidence to know that that passage you wrote works because stylistically correct to the ancient way of thinking music. Think how wonderful it would be to notice all those details and nuances that other musicians miss, simply because they don't know hexachordal solmization. Hexachordal solmization is the system used by musicians of the Renaissance and Baroque periods to read music. It is a system built on a great scale of 20 letters and a hexachord of 6 syllables. Ut, re, mi, fa, sol, la. If you love Renaissance and Baroque music, you should know more about that. For this reason, I've prepared for you an ebook where you can discover some details that you can only notice if you know solmization. Get this special gift now. Go to this link, scroll down the page up to the middle and download the free ebook.